Good grief. I guess been working all day. We just did one.
It said meeting is now streamed live to on YouTube.
That's what you're saying?
That's what mine said.
All right.
So
So we
maybe
should.
we outside, y'all. Here.
All right. So we are on now. I'm going to edit that first part once it uploads, but welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining my podcast. It's called So What's Your Story? And can we start off with your name and a brief introduction about yourself?
JUREL G Dash Jones, you heard me? Y'all know what it is. It's your boy. Um, I'm born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware, North Side, you heard? Uh I do spoken word, I host, I'm a facilitator, I train, I do interviews, I do all types of stuff,
Okay. You got a book as well, don't
I
you?
do, I do. And the book, I wish I had it next to me right now. The book is actually perfect for this conversation because it actually does connect to it. It's called Day by Day, Volume 1 The Willing. You know what I mean? It's g-jones.com. Go and get yourself one. Treat yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, so they could go to g-jones.com to get it.
That's a fact.
And how much is it
Mm-hmm.
going for?
$20 signed and sealed from me. It's going to have a special note. I don't just sign the book. I sign the book for you. Okay?
Okay, okay. Celebrity signature.
It's a fact.
All right, so let's get right into it. How would you say your upbringing was, and do you have siblings? If you do, can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so I have two siblings. I got two sisters. Uh so I have one sister is 8 years older than me. It's my sister D. She lived in the house with me for some of the time when I was growing up. And then my oldest sister is 18 years older than me, and that's my sister Ivy. So yeah, it was spaced out. So that was that. I was raised, I grew up in a it's a place. It was called Hillside. It's not there no more. It was right above where Colony North is. So like in on north side of Wilmington, there's a place called Colony North and Las Casas. And then there was a spot called Hillside.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and that's where I grew up.
Okay. So it sounds like you kind of were raised as an only child, being as though
Mm.
the age gap.
So my sister D lived there probably until I was maybe 8 or 10, 8 to 10 around that area. So after that, I guess you could say I was the only person in the household consistent. I was only kid. So yeah.
Okay. So did you get
And
everything you wanted, or did you grow up impoverished, middle class?
yeah,
Tell me.
so Hillside shouts out was Section 8 living, was in poverty, you feel me? But we didn't feel like it. We didn't know it. By the way, you don't know you're in poverty when you live there and everybody else there. It's just hood, you feel me? It's family, it's love, it's community to a certain extent. It's also you did see crackheads, you did have fistfights, you did their life was lifing, okay? But so you make it all through. That's where I grew up.
Okay.
Mhm.
So can you tell me a little about your child rearing? Um,
Uh-uh. So listen, so from the ages of like so what happened was I lived up the hill, right? Other places were called Colony North and Las Casas. That's when you get down the hill, and those areas was like those the good apartments. Like, not to say where I live was the bad apartments, but it was the hood. It is what it is. So you saw different things. I've seen Riverside wasn't too far from us. There was a time when Riverside walked around just to fight the cats from my area. Like you saw these different things. I was made tougher. From going through some of the things that I went through and learning some of the things that I learned in that atmosphere. This is a world, we didn't get social media till the 2000s. So none of that stuff was really a thing for most of me coming up. A lot of, basketball was right across the street. Everybody went out to the basketball court. They balled. That's what you did. You went to the park, you went out, you hung outside. So it was a good childhood. It was fun for the most part. But it was also, you living through struggle. You see, I literally it was knocking, hey, can we get some bread? You got anybody? Like, yes, it was knocking on neighbors' doors and or not neighbors knocking on our doors and things like that. So yeah.
Okay. Um, if you were to tell your younger self, if you were to give your younger self some advice, what would you say to your younger self?
Don't pick at it. Don't pick at it. It don't matter what it is. Just never pick at it. Like there's never a good thing to pick at. Like I don't care what you dealing with. Don't be picking at it.
Right.
Leave it alone. Just leave her alone. Leave that alone. Leave it alone. All of it. Just stop, boy. What you doing? Okay. I was
Oh,
hard headed,
fuck.
so I wouldn't have listened. But yeah, but I would. Yeah, that's probably the advice. Is and stay in focus because distractions gonna come left and right, and that was just real. But I think to be clear, I came from a place of trying to figure it out in that world. Like, so by the time I hit high school, right? But like, so my middle school era, I went to Springer. Younger eras, I went to PS, and I grew up in a single parent household for the most part. So my mom's. So it was a lot of learn for me consistently, somewhat learning to be a man in these spaces, right? Learning from everything from the people, the music, the life, trying to figure out, all right, well, what is this bravado that I need to carry? And and then honestly, also getting out of that space, getting into an adulthood, probably about the time I was 15, 16, well, really 16, 17, I moved out to Claymont. And that's when then life changed. I needed a whole new set of lessons. Right. And now as an adult, I needed a whole new set of lessons because what got me through poverty does not get me through this life right now. And it's a constant learning.
Okay. So, would you say that you were an ornery child? Like you would just be rebellious, or you pretty much whatever you were asked to do, you would do?
Nah, nah. See, here's the thing about me, right? To be clear, I was the kind of child who you can't take away from me what you ain't give me already. So, if you don't clean your room, I'm gonna take away your allowance. Well, you ain't give it to me yet. It's okay. You might have to go ahead and get that belt. You heard me? Like that's what I
Ah,
go ahead and get that belt. We go ahead. Don't worry about that. So, like, I wasn't necessarily. I wouldn't say I was rebellious per se. It just I was hard headed
mhm.
at times. I was trying to figure out what I was willing to dig my heels in and was worth it and what wasn't. Right. And I think that for a young Black man trying to figure it out, that's always a thing. Right. And I always had a mouth. Like this mouth didn't just come now. This mouth was reared.
A
Right. It
natural
was
talent,
raised.
huh?
What? What? This mouth was made with 1,000 lashes. Okay.
Good
This
grief.
mouth. So like I was groomed to utilize this properly. So
Okay.
that probably got me in trouble a lot when I was younger as well. Um, yeah. Mhm. And
And you have children of your own.
I have two daughters. Thank God they don't necessarily need the lessons that I needed because I don't grow up in an environment that I grew up in. But yeah.
Okay. So would you say that you had to instill anything in them that you didn't want them to do that you used to do back in the day?
So I'm a firm believer that your children are you without your traumas. So there are things that they need to know because they're just, some things I was like, okay, that's me. And I'm gonna have to deal with that. And that's gonna get on my nerves. Cause like I said, my mouth is my mouth. They got mouths too. Okay. So it's just like, all right, we're gonna have to, all right, that's where this come from. But to a certain extent. But then again, my kids don't grow up in the environment that I grew up in. So there's also moments when I gotta pause because I can't prepare them for something that they ain't gonna have to deal with. Right.
Mm.
I was raised in a place where I had to fist fight. Like, what you mean? Like, you better be prepared. girls. Like they ain't gotta just knuckle for the sake of it. You know what I'm saying? For me, by third grade, it was already going down. For them, what? Excuse me. Okay, so it's a different world. And I just have to kind of be mindful of not rearing them as hard as I had to be, but still making sure that they understand that life is different everywhere else. Like there are levels to different spaces of how people move, and it's understandable, and good people exist everywhere, and trying to let them know, because I grew up in a place where some people would be marked as bad people, quote unquote, for the things that they did, but they was dope. Like they was great people. They would give you the shirts off their back. Like, what you mean? So it's just knowing good people exist everywhere and making sure that they're aware of that.
Nice, nice. So, have you ever dived into like your ancestral history and where your family came from?
All right, so I'll think about this because I knew this was going to go here. So my family, mm, straight out the Book of Negroes. I need you to know we got the history of sharecroppers. Like, it's what you want. Like, listen, they erased it back past that point. Like, you wasn't gonna get past slavery with my drinks. Like, that's where it was. Like, it was wading in the wall.
Yo.
That type. That's the history. You feel me? So, like,
Oh my goodness.
that's what I got for you.
Okay. Oh, that's what you got. All right.
Yeah, nah, because it takes it back. No, seriously, because my grandfather literally did come off of sharecropper land. That's what they was doing. Dude, my mom was born in 1945. My dad was born, like, my parents were born in the 40s. So my grandparents were born in like the 20s. Sounds crazy, right? So this
Yeah.
is like fresh after their parents were pretty much enslaved. Like this is where life goes. So
See,
yeah, like people don't get generational like that, but
I,
that's real stuff.
I was born in the 70s. Good
Yeah,
goodness.
nah, your mom is my sister's age. You heard me? Like, that's
So,
yeah.
you think you would ever be interested in diving a little more deeper into that aspect? And I only say because, um, when you dig back, you might say my great great grandmother had this disease and I could have avoided it with my children if I would have known and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll say this, even still, right? Like the history that I've dug into is rich. Like it's not, there's a section in Georgia called Jessup, Georgia. If you go down, when first time I went down there to visit my grandfather, oh, you one of them Jones boys. You got them Jones lips. I was like, what? Like, what are you saying? But apparently that it goes back for generations. Right.
Nice.
So it's like my grandparents came to sharecrop the land because when slavery ended, they could they couldn't handle the land by themselves. So instead, they could let my grandparents just, hey, y'all take over this section, baka baka baka. So then it became a thing, right? So that's how that spread, and in those areas to be such a big deal. I guess it's a large family. So even in that, I learned that it's so rich in culture to a certain extent and how they all intermingle. So I will always be willing to look back even farther because of just how it turned out, right? My grandfather is, on my dad's side, is or was the reverend. Was the reverend. Like, what you mean? like, you better talk to Pastor Jones. That's who you better talk to. Okay. so so it's like, all right, I get it. That's how that pans out. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And okay, as far as family ties and um I would pretty much say, how would I say this? You know how you pass off things from generation to generation.
Yeah.
Is there anything that was passed on to you that you would like to keep in the tradition?
So I think that, and it's funny because me and my sister was talking about this today. I think that one of the things that is big in my family, we don't need a reason to get together.
Mm.
Like it sometimes like it'll be, oh, everybody else off on Monday. All right, well, I guess they're gonna come up from down south, or it's gonna be everybody going to Jersey, or we getting like, that's just, there's really no good. We don't need a family reunion. We don't need a funeral. We don't need it's just such and such, we're organizing such and such. Tell everybody to come. All right, we there. And
Nice.
then it just kind of assembles that way. And I think and I'm a fan of that because it will pass on kind of the generational conversations that everybody standing out back, chilling, chopping it, you know what I mean, having a good time. Like all the cousins just sitting out there talking for hours, literally, you know what I'm saying? And it's just engaging and understanding the history of the family and my aunts, kind of understanding that matriarchal thing in my world, to understand so I will always want to pass down those kind of camaraderie moments.
Ooh. So what are a few of your favorite foods?
My favorite foods. Chicken. Say something, I dare somebody.
Typical.
Anyway,
Typical. Okay.
preferably fried, okay? Preferably fried. Well
Well,
seasoned. No, let me stop. But I ain't lying though. It is. It's amazing. My spirit be like, yo, you probably should be a vegan. It's healthy, but that fried chicken, boy, I tell you.
the fried mushroom.
Yeah, listen, it's a mushroom, right? It sounds like a great side item. I,
They fry it like chicken. You probably would never know it's chicken.
see
If
what we
we,
not just be naming stuff.
I promise you.
When was the last time you had real chicken?
Like 6 years.
That's why you don't know anymore. And I feel I feel you.
Oh,
I feel you. I feel you.
he had a great alley-oop right there. Yeah.
I get it. I need somebody who just had Popeyes yesterday.
Oh my
Okay, you
God.
gotta just have it. Listen, if you're out there and you just had Popeyes yesterday, and you tried fried mushroom, you tell me.
So
If it's the
chicken, what
same.
else?
Um, Macaroni and cheese, all the stuff that ain't that good for you, but we loved it, girl. Like, nah, listen, because that's what passed down. It's really that Southern food, comfort food thing coming up. And I'm a lasagna fan too, with the extra cheeses and the meat. You see what I'm saying? Like all the things, ain't got no business eating these stuff, but it was so delicious.
You a mess. What type of music do you enjoy?
So again, just family wise, like I'm raised in technically somewhat of a musical household. Like my mom always had music coming from somewhere, so I was raised off the Gladys Knights and the Patti LaBelle's and you know what I'm saying, that was the vibe. Born in 84, so I'm a child of hip-hop. Like I literally grew up with hip-hop, so I was in the spaces I was in. I was in the songs I had no business too early, so I would listen. I was born in 84. I listened to Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style when it came out. I listened to Lil Kim Hardcore when it came out. Listen, Biggie Ready to Die. You do the math on your own on how old I was. I got nothing to do with that. But I did partake
I'm
in
just
some of
thinking of
these
the
things.
covers of those.
Yeah. Them covers ain't got nothing to do with the content. Woo, child. But listen, listen, Diddy real crazy now, but his album when it first dropped was wild. I feel like
Yeah,
that's why they don't put me on these shows. They don't do this to me.
man.
Mary J. Blige, My Life album, woo, classic. Music Soul Child, I Just Want to Sing. Ooh, like these are the songs. They don't even mention Aura, but all I'm saying is there was a lot of music when I was younger.
He killed the Pied Piper.
Hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo.
Oh man.
All I know is fire.
I got a question.
What else? What are you gonna do now?
So for you brought it up, the Diddy situation. How do
You
you
asked
feel
me.
about it? Do you think he did it?
You wait till I'm on your podcast to do this. Oh man! All right,
I think
he
he
already
did
signed
it.
over. He already signed over revolt, right? Like he ain't got no control in case they want to pay me. All right, here's how I feel.
It's temporary.
I'm gonna say this. I feel like nothing I've heard about Puff has shocked me, considering anything I knew about Puff, considering the Biggie situation. I mean, him being, I'm not really surprised or disappointed. It's kind of like people weren't surprised about R. Kelly type of thing. It's kind of like it's kind of like, oh man, why'd you do it? We thought you were better. No, we
Gotta
didn't. You knew he was a
stop. I
stop.
was
They knew he
totally
was.
shocked.
Were you? Were you?
I mean, I knew about the Tupac situation only because I follow Tupac heavy, and they
Mm.
were saying that he was the one that kind of put the hit out on him,
Allegedly.
allegedly. But I never knew like he was a woman beater and things of that nature. I knew he sent people to get cheesesteaks and stuff. I knew he was kind of a a-hole, but
I
I
don't
didn't.
necessarily look at somebody who. Okay, you're right. Did I know he was a woman? No, I didn't know he was a woman beater, but did I put it past him? Like that's why I said I wasn't surprised. I didn't say I knew.
Did I put it past him?
He didn't seem like the type of guy that was up the utmost character.
Yo,
Shouts out to Sean. I don't know that man. I'm just telling you, no part of him seemed like it was the. Oh man, he's the good guy. Hey, oh,
good
but he
grief.
made some bops. All I can tell you is he made some bops back in the day. I've been around. Hey, hey.
So I bring this up to say, do you think that it's fair for his children to be able to see these things on all the social media platforms? And is it because he's a celebrity that, hey, it comes with the territory? Or if he was like a Joe Smo, it probably wouldn't have got out there like that.
If he was a Joe Schmo or if he got people killed. I feel like if there were other ways if he could make it quiet, he would have made it quiet. Trust me. Like he paid 30 million to make it quiet and it kept getting louder. Like, wait, why do you keep talking? So I don't know.
Yo, you a mess.
I feel like, and I do feel like, I mean, if he was regular, nobody would care. Like, I mean, like, don't get it twisted. There's probably, somebody that lives down the street that's just as vicious as him that I don't know, I'll never know, and I don't care about, but they probably should go to jail. Send them to jail. I don't know them at all. They're not my friend. I won't bump it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
Right?
all this ties into family legacy. So, what would you want your family to remember you by when you pass away? And if something was tarnished, not on a Diddy nature, but
Jesus.
if your name was tarnished in any way before you passed away, what would you want them to know?
I think realistically, I think my legacy to even now while I'm alive is very much upon, and you know this because I know you to a certain extent, like because you know me, like I want to help people. Like
Yeah.
I like helping. I feel like everybody can eat. We can all come up. Let's figure it out. What we gotta do. So it, I think that will always carry on. I'm not. I think that anything that people go through, or anybody that it's like, oh man, and with all due respect, I am raw enough that I don't believe that there's too much in my past. And they be like, "Oh, gee, man, you know he did." Nah, man, listen, I didn't. I didn't. I ain't do that. So you
Like, look,
good? Like we good? I ain't do that. Like I know what I did. Now listen, and trust me, she consented. So I
oh
feel
my
like
goodness.
I'm good. So I
This is crazy. All right.
So I know, like, the things that I've done that are questionable in integrity or morality as you grow up. Like, truth be told, I ain't gonna act like I ain't make no mistakes at 19, 20, 20. Like, it just as a young person, and I ain't gonna make mistakes in general. But they're like understandable human mistakes that I wouldn't even mind telling my children of age, hey, this is what life is like. This is what you go through, baka baka baka, and showing them how to not make those same left turns or right turn. You know what I'm saying? To move the right way.
Nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but
So,
my name ain't Sean. I don't really know how that. And shouts out to all my Sean's in the world. I know a couple good ones. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to them. Hey, Mr. Carter, The Rock, you hear me?
yo,
All good Sean's, man.
I can't.
I gotta stop. I don't know why you got me up here.
Yeah, you tripping. Like,
You did this. You invited me up here.
you brought it up.
No, I didn't. Okay. Your show. You're asking the
So,
questions.
so, so. Um, can you leave off with a quote or a poem or something of that nature that you want to leave the viewers? In addition, can you let us know again where they can purchase your items?
Yeah. Purchase my g-jones.com. Spell out the dash. Hold up, look at it. Hold up. Is there? See that dash? Spell that out. Spell out the dash, y'all. g-jones.com. Hit the shop button right there. It's like a little bit. Hit the shop button. It's your boy. You know what I'm saying? I got a book. You know what I'm saying? I got the shirts. I'm thinking. Get yourself some merch. Treat yourself and somebody else. Okay, do it for a friend. You know what? I'll because you have me here, and I'm saying, you know, I'm probably never gonna get a job at Revolt now. But I feel I wanted that Revolt job, not Ciroc or nothing. Jesus. I
Go ahead.
I would have been a Ciroc book. No, I wouldn't have. Anyway,
The word is Diddy.
no, I am not doing that. Okay, there's a level of how far I'm gonna go with this. Our world with. All right, you know what? I'm thinking. Did he? Nope. Oh, nah, not gonna do Diddy, but I will. You can give me a word. You can feel free to give me a word. That might go viral, and I don't need that problem.
All right. So your word is ancestry.
Okay, I'm thinking. Sometimes when I look back, I only see myself. And sometimes when I look forward, I'm seeing replications of myself that have found ways to acquire a different type of wealth. See, sometimes when I think about who I've become, I think about where I began. And most of the time it starts in a place where it wasn't me breathing, it wasn't me living, it wasn't me on personally on this land. It starts in a place where, well, I would love to say I know all of the heritage, but I know that what it brought to this is a place that goes way beyond you only what you see in the physics. See, I need you to know how I've done this. And it's not just me rhyming words in a way that becomes absurd. It's also a way that lets you know that everything that has created me is more than just something about my heart beats, my brain stems, and my nerves. See, what got me in front of you right now is the same thing that makes me every once in a while say, wow, like, I still have to look in the mirror and see that I should be proud. I still have to look at my child and say, this is why I'm proud. I still have to look at myself while I'm looking for the proper noun. Oh, that's it. This is me right now. And I know how this may sound as if I'm speaking from a place of such arrogance because I know that I can walk in the place of a god. Some would say as a king that started as a prince, but I don't want you to get that dense because the way that I feel about this only is meant to be obviously something that was passed down to me from my ancestry.
Nice. Go
See,
ahead.
and I ain't say nothing crazy. I ain't say nothing crazy.
You didn't have to. I wonder what's in that cup.
There's a smoothie. Shout out to Wawa. You heard me? Matter of fact, they ain't paying you for this. Wawa, cut the check, and then you got great smoothies. That's how we talk
There
about
you
it.
go. There you go. All right. So thank you for coming on. So what's your story? I look forward to interviewing you again for our part 2. Yeah. We gotta get more juicier than this.
No. Oh, good. Like I don't need no smoke. I do a show called Hats Off where I interview other people about what they do, things that are happening. General, like, no, I don't do this, people.
See ya. Have a good one.
Adios.